OpenClaw is getting hyped like crazy right now, with over 170,000 GitHub stars, 2 million visitors in a week. OpenClaw has become one of the most viral and popular AI projects of 2026. And honestly, I totally get it, because this isn't just another AI chatbot that talks back. OpenClaw, which used to be called Clawdbot, is one of the first tools that genuinely works like an autonomous agent, meaning it can operate a computer the way a real assistant would. So instead of only generating text, OpenClaw can actually take actions for you. It can run commands, open and navigate websites, manage and organize files, and even click through apps to finish tasks from start to finish. And what really makes it feel next level is that you don't have to babysit every single step. You give it a goal, and it can chain multiple actions together without you constantly reprompting it. That means it can check emails, draft replies, clean up folders, run scripts, and handle workflows that would normally steal hours from your day. So the real upgrade is simple. This isn't a chat buddy. This is more like a real virtual assistant with hands on the keyboard and mouse. But with that power comes one big caution. If you install it on your main computer, you're basically giving it access to everything on that machine, your files, your apps, and possibly even saved logins and passwords. And if the AI ever makes a wrong call, or does something you didn't expect, it could mess with something sensitive, or run commands you never intended to run. That's why you keep hearing people say, just buy a Mac Mini and run it on that. And to be clear, the Mac Mini isn't about performance, it's about separation. They want OpenClaw living in its own isolated box, so your personal and work computer stays protected. But here's the truth. Buying extra hardware just to host one agent is an expensive workaround. And the good news is, you don't need to do that at all, because there's a cleaner, smarter setup. Instead of a physical Mac Mini, you can run your private OpenClaw in the cloud on a VPS. I've been running it this way for about a week now, and I'm getting the same experience and performance without paying for new hardware. So in this video, I'm going to show you that exact workflow. And by the end, you'll have your own OpenClaw running 24/7, fully isolated for a fraction of the cost, around $4 per month. Now let's kick things off with the first requirement. Before we install anything, we need a dedicated place for OpenClaw to live. And since we don't want it slowing down or risking our main computer, we're going to deploy it on a separate VPS in the cloud. If cloud server sounds intimidating, don't worry. Here's the easy explanation. A VPS is basically a virtual computer hosted in a data center somewhere in the world. You pay monthly, it stays online 24/7, and you can log into it from anywhere through the internet. So it's like owning a second computer, except you don't have to buy it, store it, or keep it running yourself. And this is perfect for OpenClaw, because your agent can keep working even when your laptop is closed or you're away from your desk. Now normally, setting up a VPS means living in the terminal, typing commands, tweaking server settings, and hoping nothing breaks. And if you mess up even one line, you can lose hours troubleshooting. I didn't want that headache, and I'm guessing you don't either. So in the next step, I'll walk you through a beginner-friendly setup path that keeps everything smooth, secure, and hard to mess up. I found a VPS provider that makes this insanely easy, and it's called Contabo. What I love about Contabo is they offer a one-click OpenClaw install, and the pricing starts at roughly $4 per month. So you're getting a clean, isolated machine for your agent with surprisingly solid hardware for the price. Alright, let's jump in and set it up. First, hit Get Started and choose the server location you want. Next, set a root password, because this is the password you'll use to log into the VPS through SSH. After that, hit Next. Enter your payment details, and once that's done, you'll land on the order summary page. From here, just click Order and Pay, and now we're basically waiting for Contabo to provision the server. Give it a moment, then check your email. You should receive your VPS login information, including the IP address and the default username, which is usually root. Now that we have those details, let's head into the Contabo dashboard and confirm our new VPS is online and running. Now we're going to do the one-click OpenClaw install. On your new VPS instance, click the More button, then choose Reinstall. This part is important because we're reinstalling the VPS with OpenClaw preloaded as an application. Next, switch to Application Installation and select OpenClaw from the app list. Then set a new password for VPS access again, so you can log in cleanly after the reinstall finishes. Now click Install, and when it asks again, click Install one more time to confirm. At this point, Contabo will reinstall your VPS, automatically pull down OpenClaw, and finish the installation for you in the background. So now we just wait about 5 minutes, then we'll log in and verify everything is working. Alright, after a few minutes, let's log into the server. Open your terminal, and SSH into your VPS using the IP address from the Contabo dashboard. Type your SSH command, connect, then enter the password you set earlier. Once you're inside the VPS, here's what you might notice. Sometimes OpenClaw doesn't automatically launch the onboarding setup on first login, and if you don't see the configuration pop up right away, no worries. We can manually trigger it. Just run OpenClaw onboard, then press enter. Now we're going to configure the brain of OpenClaw. OpenClaw works by connecting to an LLM provider. So when you send a message, OpenClaw refines that request using its own internal master prompt, then sends it to the model to decide what actions to take. So in this screen, you can choose whichever provider you prefer. In my case, I already have an OpenAI API key, so I'm selecting OpenAI as my provider. I'll open the OpenAI website, copy my API key, and paste it into the setup. For the model, I'm choosing GPT 5.2, since that's the newest version I want running as the core engine. Now OpenClaw can also connect to messaging channels, like Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, Slack, and more. That's how you can chat with the agent like a normal assistant and have it execute tasks remotely. We'll cover those integrations later, but for this installation video, we're keeping it focused. So for now, just hit skip on the messaging step. Next, you'll see something about skills, and this is a super important concept. Skills are basically modular add-ons. They can be third-party modules or custom instruction plus code packages you build yourself. And these skills extend what your self-hosted agent can do, like browser automation, file operations, API calls, image generation, and even specialized workflows like crypto management. The big idea is simple. Instead of writing code each time, you send one short message to OpenClaw, and the skill handles the complex actions behind the scenes. But again, since today is purely installation, we're going to skip skills for now. So press space key on the keyboard to select skip, and let OpenClaw finish provisioning with your configuration. Now the server will install everything based on your settings, and you just wait a moment for it to complete. Alright, setup is done. Now we'll launch OpenClaw inside the terminal interface. OpenClaw uses a terminal UI to run the agent, and it's managed through Hatch. So once it launches, let's test a simple message to make sure the assistant responds correctly. You'll also notice OpenClaw stores conversation sessions. For example, you can give your assistant a name, and it remembers how you like to be addressed. So over time, it becomes more personalized, because it keeps your context and history on the server. Now here's the next challenge. We didn't connect Telegram or WhatsApp yet, and OpenClaw doesn't expose a public web interface by default. Instead, the OpenClaw Control UI runs locally on the server, usually on localhost port 18789, and localhost means it only listens inside the VPS itself, not on the public internet. This is intentional, because it's way more secure, so if you try to open it directly from your laptop browser, it won't load. To access it safely from your own computer, we're going to use SSH port forwarding. So open a new terminal tab, and run this command. Then keep that terminal window open, because the moment you close this SSH session, the Control UI tunnel shuts off. What this command is doing is simple. It opens port 18789 on your local machine, and forwards anything sent there into the VPS's own localhost port 18789 where OpenClaw is running. So now on your computer, you can open your browser and go to 18789, and it should route straight into your VPS dashboard securely. Now if you see an unauthorized error, that's a common first-time issue. And the fix is straightforward. Go back to your VPS terminal, press Ctrl+C to stop the current UI session, then run the dashboard command again. This time, OpenClaw will output a dashboard URL that includes a token. Copy that full URL, including the token, and paste it into your browser. And once you do that, the unauthorized issue should disappear. Now you're in. You'll see your conversation history stored inside the dashboard, which means everything you've said to OpenClaw is saved on your VPS. And that's what makes this feel like a real assistant with memory. You can explore configuration tabs, check installed skills, review sessions, and even chat directly inside the Control UI. And best of all, everything stays synced to your own VPS. So you're not relying on random hardware, you're not exposing it publicly, and you're keeping it isolated on a fresh server built for this exact purpose. And that's the full foundation. Now that OpenClaw is installed and running securely on your VPS, we're ready for the next step, connecting messaging channels and installing the best skills for real workflows.